Hello and welcome to The Little Simple Life, a podcast about living your most intentional, inspiring life. Stepping outside the box, walking your own path, and living a life you dream of. I'm Amy, 30-something mum of two, living just outside London. These podcasts are love notes from me, sharing the things I know I would want and sometimes need to hear. I've been a writer and a content creator for 16 years, and creating content that speaks not only to you, but to myself too, is something I'm so passionate about. Choosing a different life, a life that steps away from the status quo, a life that is both extraordinary and questions the norm, is so beautiful. It is the beginning of a journey that starts with you, a question on your mind as well as in your heart. If you're here, I know you feel it too, that there is something more. That there is more than the life society tells us there is and that we should want for ourselves. In these episodes, I'm going to delve into what it means to walk a different path. I welcome you to come on this journey with me, to open your heart and mind to a different way of living. Whether you're already walking your own path, are keen to make a change, or just want to learn a little more, I thank you for joining me. I hope you find what you're looking for with the words of these podcasts, and I hope they speak to you in your own unique way. You can find me over on Instagram at The Little Simple Life, where I share more about our journey, and if you too have an account there, I would love to connect with you. It can feel lonely forging a path that is different from the norm, but I just want you to know you aren't alone. I would be so grateful if you could leave me a rating, a review, a share on social media, or recommend me to a friend who you think might like to hear these words too. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Little Simple Life. Today we're diving into multi-level marketing. If you're a follower of me on Instagram, then you'll know that I've recently started opening up and sharing my experience within a multi-level marketing company, and I've been talking about why I find them so problematic, all with the goal of education and hopefully helping others not fall prey to the same predatory systems that I did. But with that said, before I continue, I need to put in a small disclaimer. Ready? Everything spoken here is for educational purposes and to spread awareness of my own personal experience and opinion. My opinions don't represent the company I partnered with or any other network marketing or multi-level marketing companies. They are my experiences and not facts. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational and personal use tips the balance in favour of fair use. Right, now that's out the way, let's get on with the rest of the show. Multi-level marketing company. Multi-level marketing is where you sell products or services on behalf of a company, and the system is where the reps or participants receive a commission on their sales as well as the sales of anybody they recruit into the business. When I was in what I now call the recruitment phase before joining a multi-level marketing company, looking back, I can now see why I probably would have been a prime candidate. I was working my 9-to-5 job, something that is typically vilified in some parts of the multi-level marketing community, and I was quite disillusioned with it. I was also studying for my master's degree with the Open University, and I was in a long-distance relationship. In my 9-to-5, I wasn't really making as much as I had done in the past because I'd asked to drop a day so that I could focus better on the work for my master's degree. So money was much tighter. I was also obviously forking out on tuition costs, which weren't cheap, and I was travelling by train every other weekend to see my now husband. Money was really tight for me. When this opportunity presented itself, that I could possibly earn more money from my phone in what was termed the small pockets of time in my day, I have to say I was interested. I had been following a girl on Instagram who was talking about her side business, a business that was going to afford her so much more freedom of time and finances. I know we've all heard this spiel, but keep in mind this was 7 years ago, when things like this weren't everywhere on social media like they are today. I replied to one of her posts one day, mentioning how she always looked like she was having such fun, And to cut a long story short, I ended up joining her a couple of months later. Now I realised that she was selling a dream, a lifestyle that doesn't exist for the majority, that she was doing what she was trained to do and faking it until she made it. I have no issue with her, of course. She became one of my greatest friends, and although cut me off because I am quite outspoken about multi-level marketing now, again, another common multi-level marketing tactic, I wish her only the best and only love. I truly hope that she will one day see the truth about multi-level marketing, and I will be ready to support her as she transitions back into a life after multi-level marketing. See, these companies, in my opinion, and the opinion of so many others, are so very cult-like in their tactics. They manipulate, they control you, they control your mind, they brainwash you, and they control so many aspects of your life. They also have a failure rate of more than 99%, meaning that more than 99% of multi-level marketing reps will either not make or will lose money. Shocking, I know, but the FTC undertook research of 350 multi-level marketing companies, and it concluded that more than 99% of participants will lose money. It also noted that the average income of someone in an MLM is zero. Nada. In fact, this would probably be a great time to mention that you can find all the information and resources I mention in this podcast, along with the facts and research in the show notes. You should be able to see these show notes in the description, but if not, please head to amypigott.co.uk and find the show notes for this episode. The problem about these companies and about the fact that 99% of people will lose money and that the average income is zero, it's not even hidden information. It's actually right there in plain sight. For the most part, companies have an income disclosure statement, which shows exactly how many people are earning what and at what rank. The answers are shocking, and it's very clear to see that most people aren't making money, and they definitely aren't making minimum wage. So why do people join? Well, I'm first going to hazard a guess that many people won't even look at the income disclosure statement before joining. And I know I didn't until after joining, and even then I didn't really look at it. I saw the numbers, but I didn't really crunch the numbers. Maybe it was the explanation that to be successful you have to work hard, and the implication that everyone not seeing success just didn't work hard. And what about that 0.4%? Because they do make money, right? They do, but at the absolute expense and manipulation of the hundreds of people they have to recruit in order to do so. You cannot earn the big bucks of the 0.4% without recruiting. So while successful, in inverted commas, is it really success? Would you feel successful if you had to manipulate others into losing money to succeed? Because I know I wouldn't. Let's be truthful about something for a moment. How much you work and your overall work ethic has absolutely nothing to do whether you will be successful in an MLM. When you get into the business structure, luck and the size of the team you have recruited into your downline, however, does. Before you join an MLM, you'll be told how easy it is, how it can fit around your life, how you can fit it into the small pockets of time in your day. When you are on the inside, however, you'll hear that if you aren't seeing success, it's because you aren't working hard enough, that the business works if you do, that it's not that easy. Wait a second though, which one is it? Is it easy, like you told me when you were recruiting me? Or is it not easy, like you're telling me now? Can I fit it into the small pockets of time in my day? Or do I actually need to work more than that? The truth is, reps from these companies are trained to present a very attractive opportunity, and they can't very well lead with the fact that only a small fraction of people will ever be successful. Heck, if they're anything like me, I doubt they even realise quite what the odds at success even are. No, instead it's presented as the answer to everyone's problems. Whatever you are looking for, you can find it within whatever company you are being recruited for. Any objections can be easily explained away, usually from a number of scripts that a team has on hand. So someone could call on these at a moment's notice during recruitment, for example. Once you've been lured in, yes, lured in, while someone is trying to recruit you, The mind control and the cult-like tactics have already begun. I think most of us, whether we have fallen prey to an MLM or not, can attest that these opportunities are very attractive. They are presented that way on purpose. Most MLMs use the promise of financial freedom to lure people in. The opportunity to spend their time as they wish and not chained to a desk at a 9 to 5. For some reason, people in MLMs have this assumption that we just all hate our jobs. And while, sometimes we do hate our jobs, I actually really love what I get to do. So you are trained to avoid or remove people who challenge you on whether it's a valid business opportunity. There's a script to answer the "is it a pyramid scheme" question. Cults do something very similar in that they try and isolate you from anyone who questions your belief system. One of the most heinous parts of MLMs is, in my experience, the mind control. It is a vicious cycle of control that is so powerful that you don't even realise you're part of it. Reps recruit new members with powerful words and statements that joining the MLM is the answer to all of their problems, whatever their problems might be. When inside the company, teams will then unwittingly manipulate members to follow the trainings they were taught, and so the cycle of mind control continues. What happens is you believe everything you were told, and you aren't allowed to question very much. You plug into the trainings, you surround yourself with a like-minded community you have stumbled upon. You read the books that are recommended, you follow the guidance of your leaders, who followed the guidance of their leaders, who followed the guidance of theirs, etc., etc. And you embrace this new world that you are part of. Little do you realise quite what has happened until, for the most part, you are on the other side. It's actually quite terrifying. I find it terrifying to realise what control others can really influence over your own mind right under your nose. Or actually, right inside your own head. It's baffling. I was recently watching Lula Rich, and one of the things that is common in these MLMs is the focus on retiring people from their jobs, to bring in both partners home and being full-time families. A strong family at home doing life together. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? In fact, it wasn't until I watched this and one of the ex-reps was speaking to this did I suddenly realise. He mentioned how it was his belief that it is to create a complete dependence on the MLM. Wow, that hit home. To retire people from their jobs creates a dependence on the MLM. To then bring their partner home from their jobs creates an entire family dependence on the scheme. Wow. Just wow. For most, however, their time in an MLM will leave them damaged by the cult-like tactics. They might be financially unstable because of sinking money in month after month and never seeing a profit. Many get into debt trying to keep up appearances of a life that doesn't really exist so they can get others to buy into the idea too. It is awful and it's predatory. Most people in MLMs are women. They are recruited with the promise of a career, a business where they can stay home with their children and still bring in an income. In a patriarchal society, women want equality. We want to have success. And it's this part of life that multi-level marketing companies prey on the hardest. They cash in on it. They take advantage of women and the immense amount of unpaid labour they contribute to society as a whole, and they disguise it as an opportunity to change their lives. Instead, for many, it leaves them with even less money than before. Now take into consideration that most multi-level marketing CEOs are men, and it just makes the situation so much worse. Multi-level marketing companies are predatory, cult-like organisations that promise mainly us women whatever we want to hear, tell us we can do it, control our minds, and manipulate us into a system that will result in financial loss for more than 99% of people. A question I have is how much do those higher up in multi-level marketing companies know what a predatory system it is? And it's not a question I really know the answer to yet. The CEOs, the corporate team, they must be aware, right? And what about top leaders in the company? To me, it's a troubling idea about how deep these things really go. If you're in a multi-level marketing company at the moment, please take this moment to think about the predatory structure you're in. I know it's hard. I have been there. You are worth so much more than being part of one of these companies, I promise you. Everything your multi-level marketing company promises you, you can achieve outside of it without manipulation and without mind control. I know it's difficult. Like I said, I have been there. But just take a moment to think about some of the things that I've raised throughout this podcast. If you are in an MLM and you have questions, my inbox is always open to discuss anything with anyone. So email me at hello@amypigott.co.uk. If you've been in an MLM, I hope that by me being loud and sharing my story helps you realise that you aren't alone. I see you, I hear you. I know the shame, the uneasiness you feel. Let's take that experience and turn it into something better. Let's turn it into advocacy. Let's be loud and proud about our experience and ensure others don't fall for the same thing. Let's make sure the future is better for women, for the more vulnerable communities, for all of these people that multi-level marketing companies prey on. And if you've never been in a multi-level marketing company, I hope this shows you that as attractive as these opportunities can be, they are never worth it. Thank you so much for allowing me to occupy this space and share my story. I hope that if we can help even one person leave an MLM or never join in the first place, then it's one person who won't have to deal with the consequences. Thank you so much for allowing me to occupy this space and share my story. I hope that if we can help even one person leave a multi-level marketing company or never join in the first place, then it's one person who won't have to deal with the consequences that it can leave behind. Multi-level marketing is predatory. Why it still exists and why it is still legal is a question I ask myself frequently. But thank you again for listening. Thank you for allowing me to occupy this space and share my story. I appreciate it so much, and I hope my words will meet the right people.